All right, if you think you know the rules for building successful new businesses inside big companies, you're going to want to listen up. Because based on brand new data from McKinsey, the entire playbook has just been rewritten. We're watching corporate innovation go from this kind of speculative art form into a legit, predictable science. And the whole shift really kicks off with this number. We're talking a 40% drop in the cash you need to get a new corporate venture to break even. Now, to put that in perspective, just last year, that number was about $125 million. Today, it's crashed down to just $77 million. I mean, that is a huge shift in how efficiently you can use capital. So look, if you're still thinking of corporate venturing as this slow, super expensive, high-stakes gamble, it's time for a major reset. The game has totally changed. There's a whole new playbook for growth out there, and it's faster, it's cheaper, and it's way more successful than anything we've seen before. Okay, so let's dig into these new rules. What we're seeing is that these new ventures, they're not just cheaper to get off the ground, they're also scaling faster and hitting huge milestones at a speed that's, well, it's pretty much unprecedented. And hey, don't just take my word for it. Look at the proof. I mean, check this out. Projections for 2025 show that a crazy 61% of new ventures are expected to be pulling in over $10 million a year in revenue. That is a massive leap from just 45% back in 2023. This isn't some tiny step up, you guys. This is a whole new level of getting it right. And it's not just that they're hitting these big numbers, it's how fast they're doing it. Right now, it takes, on average, just 31 months to cross that $10 million line. That's down from 38 months. That's 18% faster. The whole timeline from just an idea to actually making money is just getting shorter and shorter. So who's actually pulling off these incredible results? Well, the data points to a really specific group of high performers, and that brings us to the first key ingredient in this model playbook. It's something McKinsey calls the serial builder advantage. So what's a serial builder? It's pretty simple, really. It's a company that doesn't just dabble in innovation. No, for them, it's a core part of who they are. They've spun up at least 3 new ventures in the last 5 years. And, well, it turns out that experience is like a superpower for success. And this chart, it just lays out the difference perfectly. A whopping 59% of these serial builders see their ventures kick in more than 10% of the entire company's revenue. Now compare that to the companies that just try it once. Only 32% of them can say that. The takeaway here is crystal clear. Practice makes perfect, and it pays off big time. And yeah, that advantage absolutely shows up in the ROI. For every single dollar they put in before breaking even, these serial builders are getting back 1.9 times that in revenue. The less experienced folks, they're only seeing a 1.3 times return. This isn't about luck, you know? This is about having a smart, repeatable playbook that just works. Okay, so experience is a huge piece of the puzzle, but now it's being supercharged by this incredible new catalyst, artificial intelligence. And in this new playbook, AI isn't just some tool you use. It's more like your co-pilot, or, as we're about to see, maybe even your co-founder. You see, AI is like this force multiplier that works across the entire journey of building a venture. So in the beginning, the strategy phase, it's digging through data to find what customers actually need. Then, when you're building, AI co-pilots are there to speed up development like crazy. And finally, when it's time to scale up, it automates your go-to-market, so even a tiny team can have a huge impact. And the impact on the bottom line? Oh, it's just undeniable. This quote right here says everything you need to know. Ventures from companies that are really leaning into AI, they're reporting revenues 4 times larger than companies that aren't using AI at all. 4 times. That's not just an edge, that's a whole different ballgame. And if you want a real-world example, just look at the AI startup Base 44. They built something so good it got bought for $80 million. And they did it with a team of just 8 people. This is what AI makes possible now. You can create massive value without needing a massive team. The two are just not connected anymore. Okay, this brings us to our last piece, and honestly, it might be the most important one. So if experience is your playbook and AI is the accelerator pedal, then culture. Culture is the operating system that makes the whole thing run. Because what the data is screaming at us is that the big difference maker today isn't just about having money, it's about culture. So, all the things we used to think were the gold standard, they're now just the price of admission. Having a sponsor in the C-suite, dedicated funding, yeah, that's just table stakes now. You have to have that. The things that really make you stand out, the things that separate the winners, are things like a culture that's all about experimenting, programs to actually upskill your employees, and of course, a top-notch tech stack. In fact, when you dig into all the different things that make these ventures successful, one thing just pops right off the page. A massive 68% of leaders who say, yeah, we have a culture that encourages risk-taking, also say their ventures are a success. It is, hands down, the #1 predictor of whether you're going to win or not. All right, so let's tie all this together. This new playbook, it gives us a really clear formula for how to grow in the future. It's this magic combo of experience, technology, and culture. The big takeaways here are pretty simple, but man, are they powerful. First, experience pays. You gotta commit to being a serial builder. Second, AI is your co-pilot. You need to weave it into everything you do. And third, culture is what makes it all possible. You have to build a place where people aren't afraid to experiment and take smart risks. And look, the reason this matters so much is that the payoff for getting this right is just getting bigger and bigger. Over the past 5 years, these new ventures chipped in about 12% to a company's total revenue. But looking ahead, execs expect that number to jump all the way to 19%. This stuff isn't a side hustle anymore. It's becoming the main engine for growth. So the playbook is officially rewritten. The walls that used to block innovation are lower than they've ever been, and the tools we have are more powerful than we ever could have imagined. That AI co-founder, it's here. It's ready to go. So really, the only question left for you is, what are you going to build together?